Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome. It's time for Critical Casual. It's Critical Casual. I don't know, one of those two. I'm Srekcuf5. Joining me as always is the amazing Dorkydev.
Hello.
Hi. I see you shaking your head at me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just how every show starts at this point.
Yeah. Try something different every time. Fails every time. So yeah, anything you want to say or do before we get into this week's show?
I think we're good to just start.
Okay. All right. So then let's just get in here. This week, because I'm so original at making titles, I called it "You Can't Reeve." You can't leave is what I was going for, but yeah,
But one of them is done by Matt Reeves. I get it.
yeah, and the other one is produced by Matt Reeves. Yeah. But so yeah, we're talking about Cloverfield, then 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then news and wrap up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any
Okay.
last words before we get into the first movie?
No, I mean we could
Okay.
just probably start diving in.
Just get in here. Let's just get this over with. Let's start talking about Cloverfield. Woo. Clover.
Which was released January 18th, 2008. With a budget of 25 million, it opened with a $40 million U.S. and Canada weekend, with a gross 80 million in U.S. and Canada, and 172 worldwide.
Definitely made its money
Um,
back.
oh, it made its money back and then some. And you know what? It came out during the era of found footage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I would say probably before, like 2008 obviously is the year that Iron Man came out. So before superhero movies really took off. Like superhero movies were still happening during this time, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But up until this point, like arguably the genre that was kind of coming around was found footage, because like we also got like we had the Blair Witch Project, we had Paranormal Activity, and a few others. What there's that one oh fuck, it's they're stuck inside a building. Quarantine? Is that Quarantine?
Let's see. Quarantine. 2008 movie about and her cameramen are on a story of a night shift firefighter. Reality late night distress call gets them to the apartment building where the police investigate
Yep.
more horrific screams. Yeah.
Yep. Found footage was a big thing during this time.
Yeah, Quarantine came out in 2008. So did this movie. First Paranormal Activity movie came out in 2007. Blair Witch is kind of the outlier, though, because that came out in 1999.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's kind of what started the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's obviously movies in between here and there, like,
Yeah.
that came out as well. And, like, found footage is still a thing. It's kind of changed over time. Like, nowadays, it's kind of more like webcam captures or phone capture videos
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. If you're doing that, you don't really do found footage like it used to be, where it's like someone holding a camera and stuff like that. Steven hates these kind of movies.
I do.
Did you hate this one as much as you remember?
I was incredibly bored and did indeed not like this movie again. Like,
I still enjoy it.
yeah, like don't get me wrong, it has an interesting premise and the story is okay. But the thing that fucking bugs me the most
Is
is the
that TJ Miller's holding the fucking camera the entire time?
yes, and the fact that when he's holding the camera, it's like we're having an important moment, and all we can fucking see is like their chin and their shoulder and darkness in the background because everything's spooky. It's like, oh god, I was literally nodding off in this movie because I was like, I gotta focus. Oh, oh,
What,
can't.
you don't like it when TJ Miller, our potential Marvel connection of the day, depending on how the X-Men go into the MCU, because he played Weasel in Deadpool and Deadpool 2. You didn't like our camera man, also a piece of shit, from what we understand from that one thing on the train, right? Remember when he did the whole like bomb thing, I think, or like threatened a woman on a train or something? I can't remember. He
Yeah,
did something on a
there
train.
was a bomb
Um,
threat that didn't follow through, and there was sexual assault allegations from high
yeah,
school.
he's a shitty person. You didn't like him behind the camera the entire time? And I'll fully admit, okay, I agree with you on your points here. But there's something about like a goddamn kaiju movie being like shot essentially from the human scale the
Hmm.
entire time is interesting to me. Because I love kaiju movies. And name another kaiju movie that's done this. Where we just our entire premise of it is a scale from what a human would see.
Pacific Rim, the
No, because
original.
we get to see a giant robot fight during it.
Yeah, but it's all done from lower angles and perspective, like from a camera or from a person holding a camera from the street or from a helicopter. It's never from like the robot's perspective. And if it is, then it's the people piloting the robot that we get to see it from.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But they're from. It doesn't feel like a person's doing it. If that makes sense.
I hear you. Yes.
Like this feels like this. It feels like how like it kind of would be during a a kaiju attack.
Hmm.
Like it feels more like that.
Like it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. It's definitely a movie where it gets you. If you don't mind how poorly shot the movie is, it could draw you in. Absolutely. And I
And
understand
I don't mind that because guess what? Guess what? My key thing is usually Steven?
consistency.
Consistency, and guess what? That is consistent through the movie, so it never
Mhm.
bugs me.
It was consistently shitty. Oh yeah.
Dude, I watched the original VHS movies.
Hmm.
You know how shitty those are? That like the strung together movies.
Hmm. Bless
God.
you.
Ugh. So yeah, no, it doesn't bother me at all, honestly. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. It just, it's just a found footage movie. I don't mind found footage movies. It's just they got to be entertaining. This has an entertaining premise.
Mhm.
Like if we ever review the other major one that came out that the year before, the fucking
Paranormal Activity.
yeah, that one.
Mm.
Um I would not say anywhere near nice things because that one is literally just a boring snooze fest.
Yeah,
Like
it's.
you literally just sit there and wait for a door for a half hour.
Hmm. And then after that half hour, 10 minutes later, it's a sheet. Oh. And then
Uh-huh.
10 minutes after that,
My friends said that that was one of the scariest movies they ever watched, and I was bored out of my mind for 45 minutes. I've never finished that movie because of how bored it made me. I'm like, I'm not watching this. I'm just bored out of my fucking gourd here.
yeah,
Like,
it's.
what do you want me to do?
I remember
Just
watching
sit
that
here?
with my friends, and they were all terrified. But I was like, "This, what do you? Why are you terrified of this?"
I was more scared as a child of Jurassic Park. I was genuinely scared of Jurassic Park because of the T-Rex
Hmm.
as a child. This is me opening up here for a second of the podcast. I was terrified of the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. To the point that I wouldn't be able to watch it. Someone broke it for me by doing the scene where the dinosaur chases the Jeep
Hmm.
um, and did it in reverse. And then I was like, okay, this isn't that bad.
Hmm.
And then I was able to watch Jurassic Park afterwards. And thank God, because it's fucking fantastic. Anyways, that's Jurassic Park is more scary than Paranormal Activity.
Yes.
So
And
put that into context. Genuinely, usually I'm not a huge fan of found footage movies. Like Blair Witch is kind of lame. Um, it's cool, but also kind of lame.
Mhm.
This one I really like because like some of the shots where you get to see the Cloverfield monster.
The monster is pretty
Um,
interesting. I'll give it that.
I love it. I love the design of the Cloverfield monster. Like it is a very unique kaiju. Um, like you don't see one that's like that very often. And I would love it if like we got because after watching this and having watched Cloverfield Paradox, obviously, which started this show, um, like I do want to bring that up. That
Hmm.
like this is us returning literally to the roots of the show here.
Hmm.
Because without Cloverfield, the show doesn't exist. Like genuinely, without this movie coming out in 2008, when I was in 8th grade, and you were a freshman in high school,
Hmm.
we wouldn't be doing this.
It's more. Yeah, I get you. I feel like
Um,
you're giving this movie too much credit.
I mean, I'm giving it the credit what it deserves.
Mhm.
It's literally the reason why this show exists. Because without it, we would have never gotten the Cloverfield Paradox and had watched it together after the Super Bowl and been like talking the entire goddamn time. I'm pretty sure Alex was there too for it because I know it
Oh.
wasn't just us watching Cloverfield Paradox.
I don't remember, honestly. It was somebody else.
I swear it was Alex. Anyways, and us going being like, we got to do a show off this at this point. So like going back to the franchise that started this thing. We did what Overlord. That's the zombie one, World War II.
Mm-hmm. The one that people thought was going to be a part of the universe, but then wasn't.
It's supposed to be, I think, but like they
No.
might have reduced what impact it had in it.
I remember talking about that when we first reviewed that movie. Let's see, because if I remember right, it wasn't. Overlord isn't a Cloverfield movie. According to it's according to this article by Screen Rant, because they're so reliable. It's
yeah.
Let's see. It just says, oh no, here we go. Yeah, no. They don't explain it, but it says Cloverfield isn't an Overlord isn't a Cloverfield movie, but it could easily be retconned to be one, and considering that the brutal reviews of the Cloverfield Paradox, perhaps that would have been a better call for Abrams, according to Screen Rant.
Fair. I think it should be retconned to be. Anyways, it's headcanon for me. So, we haven't been there technically, I guess, from a canonical sense since Paradox. Literally 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually 4 years ago, because we're passing our anniversary doing the show, aren't we? Yeah, we passed it. February was when we started the show. Shit.
We're old.
4 years.
Yeah, don't make me pull up another clip.
Yeah.
From 4 years ago.
Yeah, from that episode. Yeah, so like, we're kind of going back to the roots of it. And like, in my opinion, this movie does exactly what it sets out to do. Like, it keeps you on your toes the entire time because you never really know what's happening until like towards the end when you actually like see it. And even once you see it, you don't know what fully's happening around it because like you're like, okay, we need to go down to the subway, and then shit pops off there and you don't fully understand what's happening there. And then like it keeps you on your toes the entire time, and I love it.
Do you not? But the question I have there is: do you not fully understand it because you don't see shit, or because it's supposed to be mysterious?
Why can't it be both?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I'm biased and I really don't like this movie.
I appreciate you admitting you are completely biased on this.
Mm-hmm.
But you're wrong. No, I do like it. Because like there's only a couple scenes in this that actually feel jarring because you can notice that it's on like a green screen. For the most part, it genuinely feels like it's all there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
And so it feels like it's being filmed on that shitty camera the entire time, except for like twice. Or like once when they're going to the helicopter area and like it just all of a sudden it looks jarringly like a reshoot. And I'm like, yeah, that scene didn't hold. After like some HD, but everything else in it just like I genuinely think does a really good job. So
for me, like it's not just for me. The biggest problem is the camera. I don't like the camera. But then the next big thing is I don't entirely like the plot myself. Like the whole thing is it's survival in Manhattan from a giant kaiju attack, probably multiple kaiju attacks, almost definitely multiple kaijus. And
we just know of the one.
Well, there's the one on the street, and then there was the one in the river, right?
No, that was the one that got in the street.
Okay. They seemed like different monsters to me because they had footage of one in downtown on the back one screen, and on another they had a footage of like a tentacle in the river or whatnot. And
I think that was its tail thing.
Maybe. It's hard to say.
I think it had things like that. Now that you say that, I'm suddenly thinking about that. I've never thought about that. Like, Cloverfield.
Gonna look at the original monster.
Yeah.
Or see if there are multiple monsters.
I mean, it could be its arm that. Well, no, no, it's got a giant tail.
Okay.
Yeah, at least in some of the images. Does it? Oh, dude, this is actually tough to figure out. I think about it, because this is like might be someone's drawing of it. Now I look at it, like it might actually have a tail. Steven, you might have just discovered. Oh, it does. It does have like a tail. Yeah, it looks like it would have been one of its tails. It's got like this weird little tail thing on the back.
I think I see what you're talking about here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a tail. So that was its tail. It was just fucking shit up. The tail doesn't seem long enough. Maybe. I don't know. Eh.
Let's see. I type. Yeah, see. Another article from Screen Rant. When I type, are there multiple Cloverfield monsters? It says Matt Reeves' found footage horror film features a seemingly singular monster, but there is a fan theory out there that suggests there were actually two.
Could be. Oh, hey, here's a chart for its size.
Yeah, the one
is taller than Godzilla from, I think, Godzilla versus Kong. This is like the old Godzilla. Oh, old Godzilla versus Kong.
Okay, I was about to say
that.
Yeah, because new Godzilla is fucking gigantic.
Oh yeah, no, he big. Essentially, this motherfucker is 2 Stay Puft Marshmallow Men.
Oh, here we go. I just found the theory online. In the movie Cloverfield, a giant monster in Texas City, and it's stated by J.J. Abrams that monster is a baby. However, some believe it's not the only monster in the movie. They claim that another monster, possibly a parent or sibling, enters New York in an attempt to find and retrieve their kin. Reasoning is in the bridge scene, shortly before Jason's scene. HUD looks to see what the crowd is running from and then records a giant fleshy object moving towards the bridge. This is believed to be the mother monster because the tail that crushes the bridge is disproportionate from the size of the monster in the city.
Yeah, I can agree with that, given that we've seen a giant one since then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
In
I
Paradox.
can adhere to this theory. Yeah, I could adhere to this. Like, there's definitely a fucking scale difference between the two. No, it's entirely possible. I've never had that brought to my attention until now, and I've seen this a few times. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's one of the things that I always thought of when I saw this movie, because to me they seemed completely different monsters. But they could be the same monster, I guess, maybe.
It could be, but like now that you bring it up, yeah, no, it is like thinking about the scale of the tail that hits is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
entirely possible.
There's also another article I see here that's supposedly an interview with JJ saying that there is only one monster, but he should have filmed it better then.
Oh, shut up. He filmed from the perspective that there is only one monster. It's a theory that, like, it's people nitpicking and being like, well, maybe there's two.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're like, that's just people creating theories because they're overanalyzing. Okay. And it's a cool theory, in my opinion, and it could be true, and I could lean towards. I'm like, I kind of do like that idea. Like, maybe Mama's just hanging out in the bay, being like, oh yeah, baby's got this. I'm gonna take a nap. Maybe wake up after the new kids. So like, yeah, I could see that theory, working. But you never know.
I mean, this movie also has me question a bunch of random things, because the beginning of this movie starts with the expositional, this is found footage from a test site, location Alpha or whatever, formerly known as Central Park. And it's like, that made me wonder, what I want to know more about that timeline where it's like,
okay. Let's talk about that after we do 10 Cloverfield Lane, because I have some conversation about it.
Okay, 10 Cloverfield Lane as well. That's totally fine. Let's see, more to this movie. But yeah, back to the whole plot thing. There's the monsters, and the whole idea is this guy who's in love with this girl who he hasn't talked to in over a month is trapped and they need to save her. It's not the whole plot, but it's like the A plot. It starts with like we gotta escape, then it tangents into we've gotta save her, then it goes to we've gotta escape. But do they? Oh, um, and it's the tangent of like I love this woman. I have to go save her. That's the part like I know it's realistic in a way, in a sense. Like people are dumb and they'd face anything to save somebody they love. But like I feel like I would have just preferred it if it the whole time it was a run away and try to survive, and every time you get somewhere you have to go back, rather than we're close to salvation. We get a call. We're going back.
Well, they weren't originally even going back. They had stopped to hear the call.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were still on that bridge and pretty much going to get pushed across it. It just so happened they have to be going across when the thing hit.
Yeah.
How
convenient.
Hey, movie got a movie.
Yeah. Like I do see your side, and I see like a lot of people's side. Like this could be, and is considered a good movie.
You're just very biased and don't like it.
Yes. In this instance, I will admit that.
But it is 100% because you just don't like the genre of found footage.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the Blair Witch Project. That's a good movie. This and Paranormal Activity, I do not like.
You got to fully admit this is better than Paranormal.
This, absolutely. This is definitely better than Paranormal Activity. Because at the very least, we get characters and story. Because in Paranormal Activity, it's just security cameras. And shit happens, yeah.
I would say this is more entertaining than Blair Witch. Blair Witch, nothing really happens. You just watch three people like...
I guess, but that's not really... I didn't want entertaining. I wanted horrifying. And this was not that, I guess.
This wasn't that type of horror, Steven. It's a kaiju movie.
Mm-hmm. It's an action horror sci-fi.
Yes, and kaiju movies can be scary, but like this isn't like this is a kaiju movie above all.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to remember that the horror aspect is more of the unknown and not really the scares.
Mm-hmm. I completely get that. Especially because the whole point is you can't see shit.
I would have liked to see this on a big screen, actually. I think it could work better. I think it would work better. Like, if you don't know what's happening, you see it on a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can work.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Like, like I said, I was falling asleep this watch through. And I've watched this a couple of times, don't get me wrong. So, I could just be completely bored of this by now.
Did you change screens?
I shouldn't have.
Oh, let me go back. Mine was being weird for a second. Hold on.
No, it looks like I was on the wrong screen somehow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even though I didn't press a button. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Weird. Thought I caught it. That's weird. Anyways, yeah, no. Cloverfield's like I said, Cloverfield's one of those movies that I actually really enjoy. And I think it's one of those ones that like if you I think it's a good it's good if you haven't seen it before and aren't as biased against found footage movies as Steven is.
You know, I was just scrolling down here. Like a movie that I would rather watch over this would be The Mist, because they're similar premises, but the difference is The Mist is not found footage. And don't get me wrong, The Mist is also kind of boring. But I think I would watch that over this.
The only advantage is its end.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do love when the freaking lady dies in the freaking grocery market. I hate that woman.
You know, a movie I would rather have watched? Planet of the Apes. Anyways.
I know you would have. Okay, so I guess popcorn kernels? Unless there's anything else. Okay. Here's your 10 popcorn kernels, Ev. How many are you giving the Cloverfield?
I'm giving Cloverfield a solid 8 for me.
An 8. All right.
guessing a 5?
I was going 4.
Whoa! No, hold up.
Yes, because 5 is an average movie, and I fucking hate this movie. You're lucky it's not getting a 3.
You're putting this on the same level as... Hold on. As Blood Red Sky?
Yeah, I do not like this movie. And in this instance, you can't change my mind.
I'm angered by you right now.
I know.
I don't. Why do you hate this so much?
It's just
What does this movie do to you?
quite a bit. So yeah, 4 for me, 8 for you, average of a 6.
Jesus, that is the largest
Spread.
spread ever. I don't think we've ever had a 4-point spread.
Yeah, the largest before that was what, 2.5, maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna mark that in red. It's like that needs to be noticed on some level as the current spread.
Like I said, you're
God.
lucky it's not a 3.
I don't know why you hate it so much.
Like I said, for me, it's just seeing. I want to see things. And yes, you see some things, but in the story and the dialogue just isn't enough for me to carry it all the way.
Fair, I guess. I guess that's where we're at. Okay.
Yeah. Take that.
It kind of hurt.
It's not against you. It's this movie. All right. Now we're moving on. Unless there's anything else. Nope. Dev is shut down from disappointment. Like, we don't have a similar score this time?
Oh, we're just not even in the ballpark of each other.
Oh.
That's never happened. I'm dumb.
This isn't even the lowest score I've ever given a movie either.
No, I know it's not the lowest score. I'm just more dumbstruck by like we've never had a spread like that.
2020. The world ended not that long ago, remember? So everything's new here. This is post Big Bang.
We did 2012.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Ready to start talking about the next movie?
Yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Which we both just watched today.
Yeah. But not at the same time. Aw.
Yeah, I woke up after, I woke up at 1 somehow. I don't know why I slept in so late. I only streamed till 4. Usually I'm up by 10.
I was only streaming till 4 a.m. Dude, I have been having the hardest time actually getting up at my normal time of 9 o'clock. Because instead of going to bed at midnight, I've been going to bed at 2. And it's like, oh man, I'm getting 2 less hours of sleep. I can't wake up at 9 anymore.
That's insane, because you're still getting 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah, but for some reason, it's not enough sleep for
9.
me.
You need 9 hours of sleep, which is insane to me. I need 5, 6 hours, and I'm good, usually. Unless it's last night where for some reason I'm just out.
Mhm.
I'll occasionally have those days where just I'm not going to wake up when I want to wake up, and I'll just sleep. Today I slept all the way till 1 o'clock. I'm like, okay, fair, I guess. Haven't had one of those in a few months. I'll take it. I'll take a full, it's like I get a recharge day.
Basically, yeah.
That it happens because my body's like, hey, you don't have to work. You got nothing. Just sleep. You're just going to sleep. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to sleep. So you getting 9 hours is insane to me.
It's nice.
I get 9 hours and I feel groggy if I do that normally.
I just don't know what it is. Well, part of it is I also don't really drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. I don't chug soda all the time.
Yeah, I don't drink energy drinks either.
Nope, not at all. So like I just go off of nature's clock, and my clock is like, you must sleep for 9 hours.
I actually don't sleep. I don't drink that many of these. Like, I might have some if I'm working. The only reason I have one today is just because I woke up at 1, so like I just want to be awake,
Mhm.
um, and not completely dead the entire day. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. All right. Ready to start talking about 10 Cloverfield Lane?
yeah, we can go.
All right. Yeah, we're here at 10 Cloverfield Lane. Woo!
Which released March 11th of 2016 with a budget of 15 million. It made opening weekend 24 million, gross US 72 million, and gross worldwide 110 million. So it made its budget back and then some.
Which I also
Um,
think this is interesting because the budget was $10 million less than the last movie.
yes,
And
they didn't have to worry about special effects.
Mhm. And they had one set that they could build and just kind of live in there, basically.
Yeah. This movie is made extremely cheaply. But to its advantage.
Mhm.
I forgot how good this movie is.
This movie I really enjoyed. Like, I actually think this is the first time I've watched this movie because,
Really?
yeah,
Bro, it's so good. I love this movie because like it's such a unique movie, and then the door opens.
hmm
And then it becomes a completely other movie.
yeah,
Its head flips. It pulls a moonfall, but it does it so well that like it feels like a good like it feels like, oh, this makes sense though. Like, yeah, this is
yeah.
yeah,
Some of
that
it makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense in what we've been dealing with. Like
hmm
obviously something has happened. So like us going out there and then this is what it is like, okay, fuck it. Why
hmm
not? The movie literally just flips the script at the end and goes, by the way, this is the movie we're actually
Yeah. So this is actually what happened, by the way. Yeah.
in. You've been dealing with this shit for the last like 2 weeks. By the way, this other shit has also been happening.
I'm assuming it was a lot longer than 2 weeks, but I don't know.
I'm just kind of going based off of days we saw. We didn't see a ton of days.
Yeah, my idea was based off of the stitch on John Goodman's head because we see him when he gets it, and then towards the end of the movie, it's still there, but it's much smaller.
True.
You typing in how much time passes in 10
No,
Cloverfield
someone
Lane?
just used the Goku dancing gif from Broly,
Mm-hmm.
like him getting pumped to fight, and I just have to say, like, unrelated to the entire post, I fucking love that gif.
Glad you're focused on the show.
Hey, I scroll through Twitter in case news pops up. The entire dude, almost every single episode of this show, I am scrolling through Twitter in case something news related comes up
hmm
because you never know. All right,
That's true. It's
'Cause
often
it's not-
after.
it's me trying to contribute. Mind you, news almost never pops off.
It's usually after I shut down the show where I'm like, huh.
And then everything happens.
Yeah.
And by the time we're doing the show, it's irrelevant.
Uh-huh.
So there's no point in talking about it. I hate it. But yeah. No, dude, I love it because this is such a unique movie experience. I remember watching this for the first time because it was what I would have been living in Wenatchee still before I think I watched this when I moved in with my dad back here before moving to Vegas for a year. So like this was one of those ones that like I gotta watch, and I was kind of like, because I didn't go to theaters for it, because I wasn't going to the movies a lot during that
Mhm.
time. Just because I didn't do a lot here originally. I didn't do things on my own a lot. The show kind of broke me out of that bubble, being like, I can go do things by myself
Mm-hmm.
without being weird about it. Besides, like maybe like going to places to eat,
Yeah,
like
eating at like a sit-down restaurant alone, I'm not gonna do that. No.
I might do that if it has like one of those like bar by the window places,
Maybe. Okay.
like one of those stool spots. Like, because then it's like it's set up for individuals to eat. You know, those are cool. You know what I mean? Like, because you can kind of like just watch the street and stuff like that, and just kind of like people watch while you eat.
Mhm.
That's perfectly fine. But like, I'm not gonna sit at a table.
And then look at
'Cause
the
then
empty seats across with you and ponder your life choices.
yeah, I feel really weird if I did that. So like, I didn't really go to see this because I never really thought of movie experiences as something that I can do alone. Um, until doing this show, because in a sense, I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it to watch a movie and that I'll talk about with Steven.
Mhm.
Because for me, movies are something that I want to talk about, and like having to finally be able to talk about this movie is great. Because like, dude, it's so fucking cool. John Goodman fucking kills it in this.
Yes, he
He
does.
is so fucking good. Like, if you need a movie to prove that John Goodman is one of the greatest actors out there, it is this. It is this movie right here. Because he is so fucking good.
Mhm. It's pretty great.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is also fucking fantastic in this. And John Gallagher Jr. is really good too. Like, they're all three of these people in this movie that we get. Like, they all fucking nail it
Mhm.
in this.
Like, I like this movie a lot. I like the setting. I like the story. I like how it ends. This is a good movie. Very entertaining. I love the casting. Like, John Goodman by far is the best part of this movie. But Mary Elizabeth and John Gallagher, like you said, also great. Super good. Um One thing that I do kind of wish is they went a little further with what they did to John Goodman, especially when it comes to the end of the movie, because like it's pretty like you think about what's described and what happens to him, and then you get to see him, and yes, it kind of looks nasty, but I figured
Yeah.
it'd be much worse. And but that's a nitpick there. I just feel like they were trying to use more of John Goodman's face than they needed to.
That's fair.
Because they had his voice and his presence, which is really all you needed. You don't need to see his face in a lot of the stuff that we get, especially towards the end. But all the same, good movie. I will definitely watch this again sometime.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's one that I think is just so well done. Like, it is the best of the of the Cloverfield franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't deny that. So,
Undoubtedly, this is great movie. Good suspense, nice character building.
nice small little drops to what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm. So it
Like,
keeps you on your toes.
yes. And like, I don't even know what to talk about other than that. It's shot so well. It's so set up well. The set is so well designed for, you know, exactly where everything's laid out
Mm-hmm.
without them saying where it's laid out. Like, there's a scene where he says where two things are:
Yeah,
the room and the living room kitchen.
yeah.
So everything else, you know where it is based off of what's going on. Um, so it makes sense. Like, even the stuff that's above surface, you can kind of make out where those are based off of like where the two entrances are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you follow the way that, you know, she goes through the vent,
Oh yeah,
or going to the filter,
yeah.
yeah, you see exactly where that leads.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see where the other thing is, and you can tell kind of based off of that how far those two are from each other. That's awesome.
It's well made, well put together. That was one of the problems I kind of had with the original Cloverfield too, as well, not two, because you can't really tell where you are. Like we know we're in Manhattan, but I bet you nobody would really know where any of this takes place, even if they were born and raised in New York. They'd be like, "So
I think they would.
I think it's this building." I don't know.
They know, like, especially
They
given
know
they use the subways,
landmarks.
they know. Yeah, but if they no, they don't even need to know landmarks. They just know buildings and like, dude, people from New York know New York. Okay, don't discredit them there. Okay, you could literally just be like, hey, I need to go to this. You could say, hey, I need to get to this building, and I don't know what, like, you don't know what streets, and they'll be like, yeah, you take the 8th and then you go all the way down to 7th.
Do you know this because you've been to New York or because you've seen this on the internet?
Because I know people that I've met from New York.
Okay.
Like, I've met people from New York.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, on top of that, the internet.
About to say, I don't know how reliable this source is here.
Like, sure, it's a meme about New York, but it is New York. It's like people from Chicago. People from Chicago know how to get around Chicago. Like, if you're from an area and you've been there long enough, right? Or you grew up there, you just know how to get around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even me, I haven't been to Seattle in a while, and I could probably get you around Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, just based off like giving you like kind of how many streets and stuff like that. I can get from like Pybus to like to the Space Needle.
Okay. See, I don't know where anything is anywhere. Except for Kingman. I know where everything is in Kingman.
Yeah, that one's just that's baby step is like literally just Kingman. Like, hey, I know how to get you anywhere in Kingman.
Mm-hmm. But then I think about like my life in Flagstaff. I only know like a certain part of Flagstaff. And even then, it's like I still would probably need a GPS. And
See,
then Phoenix, I know nothing of Phoenix, even though I lived there for like a year.
my thing about it is how it's also how I process like knowing where places are.
Mm-hmm.
If I've been somewhere, I need like tops 2 trips, and then I should be able to get back there anytime. Like, if I drive to a place 2 times, either if I'm getting there as a passenger, I, may need 2 trips. If I'm driving there myself, 1 trip usually. Sometimes I'll still have my GPS just to make sure that I'm getting like I know where the turn is, but it's just like in case, you know.
Mm.
Like, I can get to my friend's house who's in an apartment on the other side of town. I still sometimes turn on the GPS just so I don't miss the turn, because sometimes when I'm driving, sometimes I'm going through instinct driving, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you.
And like that's the same route that I take to go to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes my brain just goes, "You're going to the movies.
Yeah.
You're going to the movies." I'm like, "No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to my friend's place. I need to take this turn."
See, for me, I only memorize something if I turn off my GPS. Like if it's on, I'm not gonna remember the route that I just took. I don't know what it is. But it's like my brain's like, I don't need to remember this. I've got a map. But then that autopilot thing that you're talking about, I do that all the time because when I go to work, I go left off this certain road. So anytime I leave, my initial thought is turn left here, and it's like, no, I need to turn right to head into town to go shopping. Turn left here.
Yeah. But that's how I am, like, in Seattle. Like, if I've been to a place in Seattle, I could probably get you there. Like Breakfast Bitch. I could get you to Breakfast Bitch.
Never heard of it.
Or, sorry, Biscuit Bitch.
Still haven't heard of it.
It's a place that does biscuits and gravy, but, like, they have different versions of biscuits and gravy.
Cool.
Like, one's the Seattle Hot Bitch. Each one of these have bitch in their name, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The hot bitch is like it's biscuits and gravy with a spicy sausage on top with like cheese and like some like other stuff. Like there's stuff on top of it. And it's so good. I want breakfast bitch so bad. It's so fucking good. Damn it. We got talking about routes and now I'm like, damn it, I really want breakfast bitch. Fuck.
Too bad it's a few hours away.
Yeah. Maybe soon. Yeah.
So
God damn, this movie's so fucking good though.
it is. There's not much that we can talk about without spoiling, but I genuinely have to say that the whole like the hook line in the poster, monsters come in many forms, definitely captures this movie.
Yep.
It's kind of silly though, because this movie kind of sets us up for paradox, where a majority of the film is one thing. Pretty much the entire movie in Paradox is one thing up until the very last 5 seconds of the movie, and then it's like, oh hey, by the way. This movie at least does it with like 10, 15 minutes left to spare before it throws us for a loop.
Yeah, dude, this movie when it throws the loop though, it's so good.
So, anything else non-spoilery?
Franchise. I ain't got anything major non-spoilery.
Okay. Spoilers.
Oh, popcorn, Steven.
Sure, fine. I give this movie. I like it a lot better. It's a good movie, so this one gets a 7.5. Almost an 8.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Now spoilers.
Let's get ready to spoil.
Not quite right, but it works.
Hold on. Was that? Oh, it's this one. There it is. Hockey arena.
And it's also usually it's a little deeper, like in the pitch.
Let's get ready to spoil.
Better. Isn't there a slide for treble and bass that you could?
No, it's my voice that does it.
I know, but in the sound system, can't you let?
Yeah, I can change it down a little bit, but I never do that for it.
Okay.
It's always been my voice. That's it. That's all this has ever been. It's just my voice.
It's
with
just
echo.
There's bass that I feel like is missing though. I don't know something. I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck to tell you. That's always how it's been.
I'll compare the two later on. I'll get a recording from a few months ago when your computer was still working.
Oh, fuck off.
Hey, so spoilers. I just put 10 Cloverfield Lane. We could probably spoil both movies if we really wanted to.
And probably Paradox, too. So, hear me out on this, okay? With where this one ends, that she's driving into the conflict zone.
Yes.
To fight.
In Houston,
cool.
Texas.
Fucking awesome. You know, my thought process on it is this. I would love a Cloverfield sequel that kind of combines all three of these stories.
That is a theory that I actually had, is all of these are happening at the same time. Like one...
I would love that.
That would be pretty interesting. Like, there's the Manhattan attacks happening at the same time as whatever's happening in Houston, Texas on the southern seaboard, and then there's the space station, space anomaly thing that happens at the same time. That would all be pretty interesting.
And we see, like, the sister, or the girlfriend, Lily, Jason Hawkins' girlfriend who gets out. We see her from Cloverfield. She's the sole survivor.
Yeah, but we don't, like, she's not in the whole movie, though.
Yeah, she is.
Unless I'm confused, which I probably...
I'm thinking of Beth. Beth dies.
Yeah, Beth dies.
Okay.
So does both the people with the camera. They're the last two people at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah. Lily was in the entire movie. Lily was Jason's girlfriend.
Yeah, and at one point, doesn't she split off from them?
No. Well, at the end, she splits off when the helicopters. She's with them the entire time.
Yeah.
So she's Marlena's friend.
Yeah, sorry, but that's like yes. What I meant there in that instance was she's not at the end of the movie. Like she at one point just fucks off and leaves. Thankfully, because she survives, but still.
Well, she didn't fuck off to leave. It was they were all getting on the helicopter, and the army guys were like, "We can't fit anymore." And Lily's like, "No, wait, they're all I have left in the city." And the helicopter fucks off. As Rob's like, "Well, wait for us. We're right behind you." They aren't right behind you.
No,
oh, Lily, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then they die.
Poor Lily, sole survivor. She's got to tell like her boyfriend's parents that like both of their sons are dead.
If the parents are alive.
Depending on the world, yeah.
Mhm.
So we got that going on. We see her. We get to see Mary Elizabeth show back up, and then we get to see the two survivors from
Paradox?
Paradox, because it's the survivors are the is Hamilton, and who's the other survivor? It wasn't Mundy. Mundy died. I'm pretty sure it's Keel, right?
Cloverfield Paradox.
I think Keel's the other survivor.
It is Hamilton and Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Oh, right. Schmidt's the doctor.
Yeah, Hamilton and Schmidt reverse the universe shift and use Tam's modifications to finally make the Shepherd work. After reporting in, the two eject themselves into an evacuation capsule towards
Right,
Earth.
because Schmidt's the one that like is like the is the one who's like to mislead you and make you think he's gonna be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's how that worked out. Forgot about that. I'm just so used to seeing Daniel Brühl as a villain that like my brain forgot he wasn't the villain. He's a really good villain though, so like that's understandable. Anyways, yeah, no, I mean like I would love to see like those two from this and then from Paradox and then the other survivors like all like together in a scene because they've survived some crazy ass shit. You know?
Yeah, sorry. I was just I looked when I went to like the Cloverfield Paradox's wiki. They had a link here for a giant monster burst through the cloud layer. And when you
Yeah.
click on the link, it takes you to the monster from the first movie. So, according to Wikipedia, they think that the first movie
But-
monster, the baby apparently grows up to be a cloud taller than the cloud's monster.
I mean, it could eventually, but it's not the one from that scene. Like, but that one's obviously bigger than the one from the Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was trying to see if there's an explanation behind it, but there isn't one. Oh, hang on, no. They say it's the same monster.
It's not though. It's the same type of monster, sure. I could give them that, but it's not the same monster.
It, according to what I keep seeing here, the monster is lovingly named Clover, and is an adult in Cloverfield Paradox. While in the first movie, it's just a baby.
Time has passed. That leaves more questions because the shit that we're seeing from the Cloverfield Paradox is supposed to be the 2008 incident.
Right?
What? That just raises more questions.
I mean, according to Cloverfield, the Cloverfield fandom wiki, like fandom.com/wiki,
Yeah.
it says that the monster Clover is mentioned in the movie Pacific Rim Uprising, which may connect Pacific Rim to the Cloverfield Paradox and Cloverfield
I
movies.
don't think that works quite right.
It says here that mentioning Pacific Rim Uprising, which may say it came from the kaiju realm. So another dimension. Ooh.
As long as they keep them separate dimensions, I'm okay with that. So that like they could be in a multiverse together. I could accept a multiverse with those two being in the same multiverse, but like I don't want them to be the same universe, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be weird.
This is what they're getting at here, based on what I can read, is it said that this is the same monster. It is unknown how tall it is, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 meters. But the reason why it's the same monster is we don't get to see the ground below the cloud layer. So we don't know what.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Right.
So the monster
Okay.
could exactly be 2,000 feet tall, or 2,000 meters tall, which is 6,000 feet. That's a lot of feet. But if it's standing on top of a mountain, it'd break through the clouds. Sure.
Well, I can accept it standing on a mountain, but that thing's head is huge. It is too big to be the one from the Cloverfield.
So it says here the Cloverfield paradox takes place in 2028.
Oh, my head.
What year does 10 Cloverfield Lane take place? It's so no that apparently this is on this different. Yeah, they're all so 10 Cloverfield Lane apparently actually takes place in the year 2016. So from which is 8 years after the initial event in New York.
So by default, all these have to be like different universes
That
where the events are happening simultaneously, but over different times,
maybe.
causing essentially. Okay. Shit. Fuck. Damn it. Okay, I've been watching a lot of DBZ8, right?
Huh. Multiverse theory.
Multiverse theory. Okay, but instead of like standard multiverse theory, imagine you would that the time stream's this, right?
You're imagining like the wormhole theory, but with multiple universes where it's all connected.
Yes, where like the point of the event happening, you could put a string through all of them,
Yeah.
and they all connect in that sense. That like essentially it's 2 points in the multiverse's time that are happening simultaneously.
Yeah, even though they're different years.
Yeah. So like these two universes could be the same exact age, right?
Isn't it
So,
Loki where they all time is happening at the same time?
Yeah, it's all time happening at the same time. But like particularly these points in these multiverses or these other timelines are happening at the same time, so you could connect them if you had like if you were using a ship, right, to travel through time. Or travel through multiverses. This would be like a highway through the multiverse. Because these points happen simultaneously to each other. While also happening separate. One happening in 2028, one happening in 2016, one happening in 2008.
That could work. It could work.
I mean, it's all relatively sound if you're going off of a multiverse theory, right? I mean, they've kind of already built that with the paradox that it is a multiverse. So it could technically just tie together that these events all happen simultaneously while happening apart. In one of the universes, 2008, New York never gets hit, or technically in two of them, 2008, New York never gets hit. Thus making that universe the one where Cloverfield lives, right? Where Clover lives. And then you have out of the two remaining timelines, the event in 2006 or 2016 where the aliens attack. And then the other timeline doesn't have that event happen, thus progressing to 2028 and having the Collider incident happen, thus creating the other events.
Well, yeah,
in the timeline.
That one kind of makes sense. Like the Cloverfield paradox is what causes all the other Cloverfield problems.
Thus creating like essentially a highway through space and time to these events. I still would think it's a different Cloverfield monster then. Because she was returned. As far as we know, she returned back to her world. So it could be the same Clover, but a different Clover.
I hear you. This theory that I'm seeing online essentially breaks down to say there are many possible explanations here, but the most plausible is that we have been seeing 3 distinct Earths and 3 distinct alternative worlds. The accelerator may have sent a monster to the current Earth in 2028, as well as another Earth in the timeline of 2008, and another Earth for 2016 10 Cloverfield Lane.
So my theory.
Yeah, it says here to return to Mark Stabler's interview with, I believe, the guy who directed the last movie, Paradox. He says that the waves created by the particle acceleration experiment went through space and time. So not just present, but also past and future.
Okay. That works for me. That makes sense. It's why I would love another one of these, by the way, just another movie.
It'd be set even further in the future.
Doesn't even have to. It's why I liked the idea of the the Cloverfield Files? The fuck is this?
Oh, I don't know. Cloverfield Files. Oh, it's a short film made in 2019.
Is it supposed to be part of the universe?
Or
is this a fan-made thing?
I think it's a fan thing.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah,
cool.
Cloverfield Files is a spin-off fan-made series by Ali Nourishafshar. It's basically another found footage thing by the look of it.
That's dope.
But it's got an IMDb rating of 4.3 out of 10.
I mean, for something that's fan-made, that's actually pretty damn good. Some people really showing fan-made shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would love to go back to this universe and multiverse and see like some more connective tissue and stuff. To kind of really like tie it together and kind of give us an explanation as to how.
Absolutely. Especially because my question ultimately is still in the first movie. What year is it supposedly?
I think it's supposed to be 2008.
Let me finish. Like the year that the footage was recorded in was 2008. Yes.
Oh, you're talking about like when we end up after.
Yes.
I would be so down for that.
Yeah, because we have the expositional, like they're looking through an archive military base footage of the incident in 2008. So like what year is it that when that happens, you know?
I would love that.
Yeah. But with specifically 10 Cloverfield Lane, I love how this movie teases through the whole thing that it is an alien disaster movie where, sure, all we get to see is the inside of the bunker, but you get hints of things like, it only barely touched me, and she's all mutated and red and dying.
I'm saying like her saying it.
Yeah,
barely touched me.
Yeah, and then the helicopter, but he's like, that's not a helicopter that we have.
Yeah, because you hear the noise being a little off too. Like it does originally sound kind of like how a helicopter sounds, but there's some different noises that you're kind of like. If you know a helicopter noise, if you've lived anywhere where like helicopters occasionally fly over from like being like in an area where there is like a military base within like, I'd even say like 200 miles to 200 to 500 miles from you, you've had a chance where helicopters will fly over you. Especially if you've been in between the path of where like 2 military bases are. Kingman is a place where like you've got military bases north in Nevada and then south in like the Phoenix area.
Yeah, we got to see flying V helicopters all the time.
Oh yeah, so we know how fucking helicopters sound. And it is a very distinct noise. Like, if you're inside a building, you know what a helicopter sounds like from inside a building. You hear that loud as shit, depending on how close they are to the ground. And it sounded similar to that, but then it sounds more like a hovering noise in the movie. And if you're not really paying attention to it, you might just think that it's a helicopter. But if you're paying attention to it, you're like, that's not quite right. Something's wrong with that.
Rod Goodman says that as well. He's like, that's not right. That's not an American helicopter. My 14 years of military experience has told me that.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes so much sense in the movie
Hmm.
that it's like, no, yeah, if you've been around helicopters, you know how it sounds from under a surface.
Yeah. Like I love too that like he's both right and he's wrong. Like he's right because there was an attack, but he's wrong about what it was and he's wrong on why he did what he did.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, like he's an awful. Like I love how they play this that you don't quite know if he's actually an awful person as well.
Hmm.
Like they keep doing it really well where they flip flop it a little bit here and there, and then
Yeah.
that drop of her going into the fucking into the where to fix the air filtration system.
Hmm.
And I remember my gut kind of dropping when seeing the scratch originally. I'm like, did someone scratch from the outside? And her moving the thing and me going, oh no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. No. Because it's just your gut going immediately going, fuck. Fuck.
So he's actually a bad guy after all. How much of what he was telling us was lies? And then he fucking murders Emmett.
God, it's so just even knowing that it's coming, I still am like, fuck.
And his reaction afterwards is, "This is how it was supposed to be, just the two of us." And he's like calling her a little girl and his little princess, and like that's before the murder thing happened, but still, like, ooh, he's a damaged individual.
He's a goddamn libertarian, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Doomsday libertarians, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
They are. If this was ever a thing for you to change your political ideation, maybe maybe this is a movie for you.
It's like it's definitely weird because part of me wonders how like I'm skeptical. This is me being like the skeptic nitpicky person in this instance. Like how much of this was like just this would be an interesting story and how much of this is those crazy theories are true. Like
Yeah.
do you I part of me thinks like this Dan Trachtenberg, the director, is like part crazy conspiracy theorist. But is he really?
And we could just pull up his other movies and see. Well, movies? No, he's not. He's part of. He did Prey. Uh oh, he's doing Prey. Oh my god. No way. He's doing Prey. Oh, do you know what Prey is supposed to be?
No.
The origin story of the Predator in the world of the Camochin Nation 300 years ago.
Oh.
It's gonna be Native Americans versus predators.
That sounds a little weird to me.
Oh, 100%. And it's gonna be fucking bonkers. But like, I'm for bonkers occasionally. You know that. Hey, director get an episode of Black Mirror, The Boys, 10 Cloverfield, Portal No Escape short. And he's doing Prey. So he doesn't have a huge track record, but he doesn't have, he's I think of the stuff that
Yeah, he's relatively new.
yeah. I'm interested to see Prey. I forgot that was a thing, 100%. Like I genuinely forgot that was a movie coming out. When is that? That's supposed to be this year? Hold up. Movie releases? Is that still this year? Prey. I don't see it on the movie release. Maybe it got pushed back. Kind of hope that still comes out because, like, I would love for us to review some Predator movies. I would love to do all the like Alien, Predator, and AVP movies at some point.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Because they're all there's such a just a scale of movies with those. Like especially having done Predator and Predator. Or we've done Predator and the Predator.
Uh
That's where that started. I remember now.
There you go.
It was the Predator movie and the Predator movie.
Oh, gotta love fucking old jokes that never die.
Yes. Because now we're doing the Batman movie and the Batman movie next week.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Yes, that's where it happened. It was because of the Predator movie. Fucking hell. Oh, love it. I love it.
Also, what'd you think of like the different monsters designed in this movie? Like it was part machine, flying machine, but also part like living tentacle monster and
Kind of
was-
like armor and
yeah.
shit.
And then there was the dogs.
I wonder if there's something like piloting it or if it's sentient. You know what I mean? Like the dogs are like the
Mhm.
dogs and stuff, like how that works. I'm curious about their relations. Like, is there other creatures piloting the creature that's flying? Why does the creature that's flying have the dogs in the first place? These are questions I have that I would love answers to, but I don't need answers to because I enjoyed the movie, so.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
it says when I type it into the internet is that it says living alien spaceships. That's all it says.
Yeah, because it looks like there's like a cockpit on the top of it, too, when you see it. Like that red, like, glass on it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people living inside of it? Was it abducting her to put her inside of it, not eat her?
I
These are
mean,
things we'll never know.
yeah, we will never know.
But it's still fun to ask. Okay, I don't see Prey on the list. I'm really sad now.
I do also like that she chooses to ultimately go to fight rather than run away for safety. Like she's like, I'm tired of being a victim. I'm gonna fight. Though I also liked the whole lightning in the clouds, and then you get to see the giant ship in the distance at the end of the movie. I thought that was cool.
It was. Oh, it's gonna release on Hulu and Disney Plus internationally.
The
it's
Prey
supposed
movie?
to come out. It's supposed to come out this year, but it doesn't have a set release date. I mean, like they got some weeks where they could literally throw it in anywhere. Just don't do September. We have plans for September. That would really throw off September's vibe that we had planned. So I would feel really weird putting that off a few weeks, that one, if it releases in theaters. Because literally we would have to put it off because we would still do our September shit, and then we'd have to put it off 2 weeks into October because of Spider-Verse and Halloween Ends. We have to do those two. So we would have to watch the third week of fucking October. That'd be weird. Please don't do September. Knocking on my wood desk. Hello? Anyways. Yeah, no, this dude, I love the Cloverfield stuff because I want to see more because it's one of those multiverses or those cinematic universes that like are loosely connected, and I kind of love that. It's like early MCU shit, right? Where like everything was so loosely connected. Or like a lot of the standalone films where like it's kind of like there's small connective tissues that kind of relate things. Like Shang-Chi doesn't necessarily have to deep tie into the MCU.
Mhm.
Like there's one scene where two characters we've seen before show up
Yeah.
mid-movie. And that is an awesome, like that would be such, like let's say this was like, you know, that episode's a comic, right? And you're reading through the comics and you get to issue 5 of that series, that run, and all of a sudden Wong is facing the Abomination in a fucking cage match, and you're like, and it just like it starts with that being seen as like the last panel of that episode of that comic. You're like,
Mhm.
oh shit, that's fucking dope. That's a great setup. And it just, you know, the next scene you just kind of see them fight, and it sets up that they're not even really going to be part of the comic, right? It's just they're there, and it's kind of like, oh wow, that's a fucking awesome. That's how these feel. You know what I mean? Like, there's just small little intricacies that that like, and all that ties is most of the time is just Clover minus like simple little things that you might like read. If you pause it and like read something, you might see something that kind of connects things, right? But that's it. That's all that connects these, and they're so loosely connected. But I love that because it feels like original MCU stuff, like just the background having like a Captain America thing or something, like I love it.
I do prefer that over just like throwing everybody into a movie.
You have to build before you can do that.
Yes. Remember how we used to praise the like the King Kong and monster stuff for that kind of thing?
Yeah, like it's just slow and like Monarch is your through line.
Mm-hmm.
MCU's was Shield.
Mm-hmm.
That was your through line. Like Shield was your connective tissue. DC doesn't have that. What the Darkverse never had anything near that because it fucked it up in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. God, that fucking movie. Yeah, like I would love to see more of the Cloverfield universe. So please give me more. I'm all for it. I know people didn't like Paradox. I still disagree with them on that. Like, I think Paradox is better than what people give it credit for. Sure, it can be a little disjointed, but you know what? It's an enjoyable romp. So, watch the rest of the Cloverfield movies, like Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Because guess what? If you wait, oh, they line up with each other, huh? Because it's the L. Oh, weird. If you line, no, wait, could those line up with each other? Posters? No, they're different spots on the poster. Sorry, I was looking at Cloverfield Paradox and Cloverfield Lane. I'm trying to see if the line for Cloverfield Lane that goes down, where it says monsters come in many forms, lines up with the Cloverfield Paradox poster. The future unleashed everything. And I think it does line up.
I mean, probably. They probably designed it to connect them that way. I mean, the reason why they had the line going down in this movie
was for,
the bunker. Yeah. And I'm assuming the lines in Cloverfield Paradox are for the past and the present, or past and future.
Right?
Like timeline stuff.
Oh, God, that's fucking cool. Okay, I love that. Give us more. Just the posters are cool. Fuck. I want more, Steven. Like, seeing this made me want more again. Ah. Okay, we can move on. I ain't got anything else.
It's okay. I haven't
tangenting as well.
I mean, I haven't got much else to talk about either. All right, let's move on then. News and stuff. Yay!
News.
That's one way to do it. So, movie news. I can't remember if I posted anything in Discord. I'm double checking really fast. I do remember posting something not that long ago. No, I didn't post anything there recently. And I mean, people are talking about a lot of stuff, like interviews about certain things, whatnot. Like The Boys, I think, is coming back soon. And
oh yeah, they got a new show thing. Diabolical. I think that dropped today, actually. Hold on. Amazon Prime video. Yeah, Diabolical dropped today.
All right.
With fucking 8 episodes.
And that's on where you said Prime?
Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an animated one where like each episode is animated by like a different studio kind of thing. It looks like.
Okay, so it's an anthology.
Yeah, from some of the most unhinged and maniacal minds in Hollywood, today comes Diabolical, a collection of 8 irreverent and emotionally shocking animated short films featuring stories by Seth Rogen, Aquafina, Andy Samberg, Aisha Tyler, Justin Rowland, and more. Each episode plunges elbow deep into the unseen crevices of the boys' universe.
Okay. And then the next episode, and then the next Boys season 3 will be something else. Cool.
Uh-huh.
Darn cool.
When is that? That should. Oh, I think they have a date for that. It comes out June 3rd. I can't wait.
Huh. I just saw an article here from Slash Films. It's saying that Free Guy is going to get a franchise.
Huh.
Okay, so the quote here is during an interview with 20th Century Productions president Stephen Asbell, he talked about the progression of the company now that they're under Disney's umbrella, and he provided some information. It says, in relation to our other brand and to the other brands like Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar, Disney Animation, we're closer to what you call general entertainment. So on the TV side, some films, kind of on the TV side basically, some films will be more Disney adjacent, like Avatar, Free Guy, and Planet of the Apes, and some films will be edgier. Which I gotta say, that's one thing I'm a little upset with
Wait,
at
they
the
said
moment.
more on the Planet of the Apes?
Yep.
Was on the child side?
On the Disney adjacent side, yes. So like the not
Have
as
they seen the last two Planet of the Apes?
apparently that's not as edgy,
Bro.
which is actually something I could kind of agree with at times. Like that was something I missed when I was watching one of the more recent movies that we saw. Oh, it was a movie that I saw. It was Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley was done by Fox or sorry, Searchlight Studios or
Right.
whatever it was. 20th Century Studios. And that one I was like, well, it was interesting, but it's not it's a bit gory, yes, but it's not like as edgy as I remember Fox movies being, because I kind of think of them as like the cringy 2000 eras superhero movies, you know?
I mean, yeah. Not far off.
Let's see here. So that was that. I mean, yeah, I don't really see anything else that's grabbing my attention other than next week's movie, which you've already kind of talked about a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
It's finally, Steven, it's time!
Time for what, Dev?
We are doing the Batman 89 and the Batman 2022.
Batman and the Batman.
No, it's the Batman. You did the thing where you forget to say the Batman. On the first one, you just said Batman. You got to say the Batman 89 and the Batman 2022.
I could say however I want. This is my show.
How dare you? No, I can't. Dude, I can't fucking wait for this though. This movie looks so good. And let's be real. DC does really good with standalones.
I mean, I'm interested in this. I'm only curious on what they're going to do with it based off of like how the Joker movie came out and how that was accepted in the cultural zeitgeist, I guess. I want to see if they like try to go as edgy or as dark or whatever.
From what I've understand from this so far, I haven't seen any major reviews. I've seen minor things here and there. I did see someone point out one thing that actually is something that's been missing from this franchise forever.
And it's Batman actually being a sleuth.
Well, we also get, it's not really a spoiler, but to give you the idea, we get a little bit of inner monologue from him, apparently, in this.
Interesting.
Which is super crucial to Batman. Like, in a Batman story, there's a lot of times where it's just Batman thinking through a situation. Like, you just get his inner thoughts, right? Like, his entire fight with Superman in Hush, if you read that in the graphic novel, it's him thinking about how to get out of this. He's like, okay, I know Clark. He's the Boy Scout. I'm the fear. Like, I have to use that in this fight to beat him. The only way I win is if I use kryptonite, and he knows that I'll use that. But I can't win even with kryptonite. I'm not going to win this fight right now because I don't have enough to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do the thing. And he gets Catwoman to literally kidnap Lois Lane and drop her off a building because he knows no matter what, Clark will save her. But that entire fight, we get him explaining that. In that, also, he talks about how, Dick Grayson grew out of the shadow. Like, he talks about how Dick, is no longer Robin, that he is Nightwing, that he doesn't have to be Batman's sidekick, that he's his own hero. He talks about how, but this is all stuff that he's just thinking. And the fact that this movie's going to do some of that is I didn't realize it was something that we were missing. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that, like, once, like, someone pointed out that, like, hey, this movie's going to have some of that. And I'm like, wait, oh my God, you're right. None of these other movies really do that. Because every time Bruce is kind of explaining something, he's explaining it to someone else.
Yeah, he's explaining it to someone, usually Alfred, or his love interest.
Or the League. It's never the monologue. We never get the Batman monologue in his head. And I'm so for it. I'm so fucking for this.
Gonna be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's next week. Batman-y stuff. Batmite things, maybe.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, I can't find anything else movie news-wise. Good? Anything else you want to talk about? Yeah?
I think I'm good.
All
I
right.
think we're good.
Cool. So, all that's left here is to end the show. That fun. Yeah. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a review, and I don't know. Don't fuck it up. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see you guys next week. I had to make it all ominous.
Vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman!
Good animated series reference.
That wasn't a bad Kevin Conroy, was it?
Not bad.
Like on the Batman. That was I actually surprised how well that actually sounded after hearing it. I'm like, I was really worried it wasn't gonna sound good. That I'm just like I'm happy with that. We can end on that note. I got nothing else to add.